Hello, sorry I'm late. I am clearly technology challenged here and I totally messed up. So I'll just give it a minute.
I do not want this on.
Okay, so I will go ahead and start. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Kyla. I'm a 3-star director and I have been with the company since about 2015, 16, I think. Should probably know that, but anyway, I have never hosted a power hour on my own, so I thought I would kind of mix things up a little bit and give you both tasks and go over a few things of how I do things because they may be different than what you were taught. I know we all do things so differently and each leader has a different way of teaching, so I think we really learn from one another, so it helps to see how everybody else does things. And then of course, if you're on the call, you probably, there's a good chance that you're already committed to building your business and you probably have a DMO yourself. So I'm not going to mention some of the basics that we do every day, like birthdays and engagement, customer groups and things like that, but just make sure that you're doing it regardless. And of course, stop me if you have any questions at all. I tend to talk fast when I'm nervous, so I'll try to keep it slow. Let's see here. So the first task I want you to do is to schedule your time blocks for the rest of the week. And if you haven't done it already, what I mean by that is to set your business hours for the rest of the week, whether your week ends on Saturday or Sunday. Sorry, I gotta mute somebody. Go ahead and sit down and schedule it out for the rest of the week so you have those set. Whether you have an hour a day to work your business, 2 hours or more, whatever it is, schedule out the tasks that need to be completed. That will help you stay focused and cut down on distractions. I would suggest no less than 1 hour a day, every single day. And whether that hour is done in one setting or you have to schedule 15-minute pockets throughout your day to accomplish it, just schedule those tasks to get done. It should be as important as scheduling a doctor's appointment or any other task that you have. It should be equally as important. I personally like to sit down on Sundays if I can. I take a look at the entire week and I just schedule in my time pockets to make sure that I get all of the income producing activities done throughout the week. When I first started, I was working full time. I was taking college credits. My husband worked out of state, so I was taking care of both my kids by myself and I was busy, like I had no time. So scheduling like little time pockets is literally what grew my business. I had to get up 15 minutes before work. I would get up early and start posting in groups or responding to messages. I would get to work 10 to 15 minutes early and, answer messages. I would go to the bathroom during work and answer messages. I worked on my lunch and I stayed up a half an hour later, half an hour to an hour later every single night after the kids went to bed, just so I had an extra pocket of time. So those are just like, if you think you don't have time, I promise there's time. You just got to squeeze it in. I always take the power hour schedule because it usually comes out on Sundays, and I will go ahead and set it. It's not muted. I will take the power hour schedule and I will set alarms on my phone for every day that week for them to go off when power hour is starting so that I don't miss any of them. I know it's easy to get busy and then you just completely forget. So I have an alarm set every single day for the time that the power hour is going to start. I try to attend as many as possible. I do that with team calls as well. So you can set those if you don't already have those set. Other tasks that I schedule out are following up with customers, leads and prospects, checking in with my downline, tap routing, working on content that needs to be posted on the different social media platforms, working in groups, and then taking, a time block to expand my network. I sit down and make sure that I have all those slots scheduled at some point during the week so that every one of those get done. So just take a few minutes, make sure that you have those all your power hours and everything scheduled for the week, where you're gonna work your business. So I'll give you just a minute to do that. Repeat the list. Let me see. I schedule the power hours, the team calls, following up with customers, following up with leads and prospects, checking in with my downline, tap routing, working on content that needs to be posted, working my customer groups, and then growing my network, which would be working like interest groups or yard sale groups, things like that. Okay, so then task 2 is going to be to follow up with your current customers. You may already have people scheduled today to follow up with, so if that's the case, just go ahead and follow up with those if you haven't already. I schedule my customer follow-up kind of differently, so I'm going to explain how I do that. If it's a customer who has recently started, of course, they're on the 1, 3, 7, you know, they're on the typical schedule, but I kind of take it a step further. And I think it's because I'm like obsessed with being organized and having a system. So this is my system. You don't have to complicate it like this, but this is what works for me. I use Google Calendar to keep follow-up on my customers and my prospects. And then I also use a customer sheet and a 3-ring binder and a planner. So when somebody orders, I will fill out the customer sheet, put their name, their address, their phone number, all their information on here. And I've filed them in a 3-ring binder. And then they, of course, also go on my Google Calendar because that's what I check every day to see who needs follow-up with. But one thing that I do differently is on Mondays, I print out a special report for everyone who ordered the previous week. And it's a custom report. It's not a report that already is made up. So if you want me to show you how to do that, I will. Super simple, but I do that every single Monday. I'll print out who ordered the previous week. And I start with my customers that ordered and go through them one by one. I go and look on their account, see what they ordered, pull their sheet up of what they ordered, put the date and put what products they ordered. Because a lot of times people, it's easy to miss people if they just log in and order something. You don't get the notifications all the time. I just want to make sure that I know when everyone has ordered. And a lot of times people will order products that you didn't know they ordered and they don't know how to take it. So I always check to see what they ordered so I can get them the information if they're unaware. Like the patches. A lot of people logged in and ordered the patches, but they had no idea how to use them. So I just double check what they ordered, write it down, update their sheets. Then I update my Google Calendar to make sure that they're, you know, I don't need to follow up with them that day, or I need to, just to see kind of when the last time I followed up with them. And then my last step is I always just write down in this planner that they ordered. So try to get to this. Like this is last week. I just have down there everybody who ordered and the day they ordered, and then I mark steps. Yes, I'll show you the report here just in a second if I can get the screen to share. I write down if they're a reorder, a reactivate, or a new customer. And then having them all in that planner, it's easy to flip month through month to see, oh, they only ordered, you know, they haven't ordered for 2 months or whatever. It's right there and I don't have to go to the back office and search and see when the last time they ordered was. And a lot of times, the reports and in the back office, if they ordered and the order failed, they still show up on the report. So having that, I'm not going to put somebody on there that had a failed order. So it's just an easy way for me to keep track of that. So I do that. I go through all of my customers on Mondays. I only do it on Mondays. And I do it weekly because I was doing it monthly and it was just way too much to to do all at once. And then I'll go through, and when I print that report, I put them in alphabetical order of the sponsor, because, excuse me, you know, some sponsors or some people they've fallen off, they don't have anything to do, but they have customers still who are still ordering. So I just go through real quick and check to see if anybody had ordered that their associate fell off. If so, I'll reach out to them real quickly, make sure they don't need anything, that they're, you know, if they need any support, anything like that. So nobody falls through the crack and feel like they haven't been supported. Okay, let me see if I can show you how to pull up that report. Maybe. Let's see. Okay, so let me know if you can see the screen. Can you see the screen? Anyone? Yes, okay, thank you, Vicki. Okay, so go to Reports, Report Center, and you want to create a report. And I'm going to filter. And I want to do last order date is, and you'll go to custom range, and I do them for a week at a time. So like yesterday, I printed, let's see, what was yesterday? So I printed from Monday to Sunday of last week. 120 through 126, and then hit OK. And done. Then you want to go to columns and select sponsor name and total qualifying volume, and done. This is my husband's account, so I don't even know if anybody will be on here. Yeah. So then you have to name your report. And I'm assuming everybody knows how to go from there. So it's just those simple things. The last date or last order date, you want to set the custom dates on there for that. And then on the columns, you want to make sure you hit the sponsored name. Then you would save that report, export it, and you don't always have to pull it up or print it out. I do personally, because then I like to go in and alphabetize, or yeah, put it in order of easier to follow through. And I do that on Mondays. So another thing that I do that has been super helpful is when I have new customers that enroll, one of the follow-up message that I will send them when I'm sending their tracking information is I ask them to fill out a Google form that I created. I just ask nicely. I've never had anyone tell me no, but I just say, if you wouldn't mind, would you please fill out this form for me so that I can get a good idea of how I can best help you? And on that Google form, I will just ask them things like, how much follow-up would you like? Do you want, you know, and then I'll say, how much follow-up would you like, or would you prefer? And the boxes are like every week, every other week, every month. I will contact you, because, you know, you have some people who, especially if they're cold market, they get started and they never want to hear from you again. So instead of constantly, you know, getting ghosted by these people, I just went with this Google form, and they tell me right off the bat what kind of follow-up they want, and I try to stick with that. I also say, I have a question that's like, would you be interested in any of the other products? And then I list all of our main products on there, and they can check which ones they're interested in. And a lot of times they're interested in, 5 to 6 products or even more. A lot of times people will select them all. So that gives me a leeway to open the conversation about other products. Let's see, other things I put on there. Let me think. I also asked them if they'd be interested in learning more about earning an income or being rewarded for sharing with others. Even if they're not interested at that time, I've still planted that seed. So I do that. I ask them for their goals. It gives me an easy way to follow back up with them when I'm checking in later, to see if they're on track to reach their goals. And then at the very end, there's a section that allows you to just write something, and I'll just say, I just put something in there about the 10K pledge, the subscription reward points and things like that. So they're aware of that. They're aware of the true transformation and things like that. Google Forms are free. Anybody can do it. Anybody can sign up for it. I believe you just need a Gmail account, which is free as well. If you Google Forms, it'll pop up for you and you can register. I think it's even like www.googleforms.com or something, but super easy. You can ask whatever questions you want. If you need help filling out the form, YouTube will be your best friend. I didn't know how to do it, and YouTube will literally walk you through it. Super easy, and it's quick and simple, and then you can just use that one form each time when you send it. It has a special link to it, and when somebody fills it out, you'll get an email notification where you can view the answers. So that's that. And then I'm going to list a few other tasks for you to do that you can work on while I go over this next part. So number 1, engage with 10 to 15 people on your timeline or Instagram feed. Number 2, add 3 to 8 stories on your Facebook or Instagram or both. Using polls and things like that has been really helpful lately. I really like a lot of engagement that way. Number 3, engage in your customer groups, 8 to 15 posts if you can. And then the last one would be follow up with anyone who showed interest in the current monthly special that we have going on, but they've yet to order. So 4 things. And tried saving the Google Forms. I have not. I didn't know you could do that. I'm not sure. Worth looking into. Okay, so, the next thing I'm going to talk a little bit about is branding. And disclaimer, I'm not an expert by any means. I've just been kind of doing a lot of research on it lately. So I'm just sharing with you what I've learned here. It's not necessary, to have a brand to have a successful business, but you should be able to distinguish the two. So the network marketing company that we work for is what we do, but it's not who we are. So people, they have us as a friend on Facebook, on social media, more than likely because they are interested in who we are, not what we, who we work for or what we do. It's not why they friend us. Branding is the art of creating movement that can't even say it. It's the movement of creating a difference from us to others, letting us stand out. Your name and who you are is your brand. So when you brand yourself, you're sharing yourself with the world. If you're not sure what your brand is, I've struggled with this forever. It's essentially who you are, what you like, your interests, your passions. You can ask yourself 4 questions. Who am I? Are you mother, daughter, sister, teacher, whatever it may be? What do you stand for? What is your mission? And what are your interests, dreams, and passions? The answers to those questions will give you your message that you're sending out there on social media. It's going to differentiate, how do you say that? You from other people. But another disclaimer, you don't want to let Go ahead.
Differentiate.
Yes, that's it. Thank you. You don't want to overcomplicate it and let finding your brand take away time from your income producing activities, because those are the things that are the most important overall. Branding in general is just sticking with who you are, sharing your values, your interests, and your aspirations, and doing it in a way that you're providing value to other people. When you show up being authentic to yourself, you're going to attract the right people to yourself, and you're essentially going to attract your tribe. You know, you always hear people say attract your tribes. The people who are like you, who think like you, who have the same values and interests and passions as you are. So when you're showing up on social media like that, they're naturally just going to navigate to you. And of course, when you connect with someone emotionally, they're going to invest in you. So you must provide value to people through the content that you post online. So I'm going to share a little bit on Instagram and how you can do that on Instagram. For the longest time, I didn't understand Instagram, and I still fully don't understand Instagram, but it's starting to make a little bit of a sense. It's definitely different than Facebook is. Instagram is about being creative, inspiring, and the way that you do that is through pictures and videos and short captions, whereas Facebook, you can make those longer captions and tell stories. Instagram, you want to have a really awesome picture, but keep the caption short and sweet. It's about being creative and inspiring. You want your pictures to be where people are scrolling through Instagram and your picture stops them in their tracks. So it has to be an eye-catching photo. When I started using Instagram or started learning about it, I was told to do a business profile. However, this new leader that I'm learning from, she said that's not the way to go. It's your prerogative however you want to do it, but I personally have chosen to go back to a personal profile, simply because when you have a business profile, Instagram's going to treat you like you're a business. And as far as the algorithm goes, you know, people don't get on Instagram necessarily to shop or to find a business. And then, of course, having a business profile screams that you're selling something. So I personally went back to a personal profile, and I've been having a lot more luck that way. Instagram, you want bright colors, posting patterns, things that, like I said, are going to catch people's eyes. And you need to post often on Instagram because it's easy for your image to be lost. 1 out of every 5 posts needs to be about your business, but the majority of your posts are going to be about your brand, and you just sprinkle in the business here and there. You're going to share your hopes, your dreams, your interests, the things that you love that represent you, and you're drawing people in with those things that represent you and your brand, and then you capture them. You know, that's how they catch your business posts every once in a while. With each post, you want to use 20 to 30 hashtags per photo, and the hashtags that you use are your target market. So you can use hashtags like, if you're attracting busy moms, you can use hashtag busy mom or hashtag boy mom. It's who you're trying to attract. There's a million apps out there that will help you with hashtags. One that I have been using is Tagomatic, Tagomatic, Tagomatic. And there's a free version, and then there's a paid version. It's $2.99, but it's well worth the $2.99. But you can type in a word, and it's going to pull up all of the relevant hashtags for that word, and it gives you the most trending hashtags up top, and then you can just click to copy those, and you can copy and paste them into your Instagram post. So if I'm posting a recipe, let's just say it's a keto recipe, I can go on Tagomatic and put in keto, and it will pull up all of the relevant hashtags, and then I'll copy those, and then I'll do healthy recipe or something like that and put up all those hashtags, but 20 to 30 hashtags per post. You get followers on Instagram when you follow other people. So it's like you have to give to get, essentially. And a good way that I found to do this is go to search your local restaurants, your local stores, things within your town and surrounding towns, and go and like those businesses. And then on those business profiles, you'll go and look at the people who are following those businesses, and you're going to follow those people. Those are your local people. That's going to help you build an audience that's local to you. And you have a higher chance of them following you back because you have something in common, you're local. It's just it's really easy to get a follow back and to connect with local people doing it that way. A few apps that you can use for pictures, there's a bazillion of them, but these are a couple of my favorites, would be Word Swag. I use that one all the time. PicArt, Be Funky, and Photo Candy. Those are probably 4 of my favorites right now. But like I said, there's so many out there. When you're sprinkling in your business post, you want to make sure that every business post or every product post has a call to action on it, meaning what do you want people to do? A call to action, an example of a call to action could be drop a comment below, hit the heart button if you want more information, something like that, to where you're telling them what their next step is. Because people, they rarely ever come to you when they're interested in something. So we have to tell them specifically what we want them to do. I personally do not like Instagram Messenger, so I always try to convert them into Facebook Messenger. That's my goal. So a lot of times my call to action will be, I don't know, link in my bio, or check out my Facebook group or whatever. And I have a link tree in my Instagram bio where they can click on it and it will take them right there. My goal is always to convert people from Instagram over to Facebook and then into the customer group. Along with posting on Instagram, stories are really, really big on Instagram. I know they're big on Facebook right now, but they're even bigger on Instagram. And this is the place where you can share your brand, you can share your daily life, all that fun stuff that you normally share, but you can also share more on products, testimonies, the business aspect. That's where you can share a lot more information versus just spamming somebody's wall by throwing it up everywhere. Let's see here. For both Facebook and Instagram, you want your description and the intro on your pages to be 5 keywords that explain you and your brand, and use emojis. Just explaining who you are, what you do, not your business, not your products. And then if you get stuck on what to post every day, because sometimes it's easy to do, these are 3 things that you can't go wrong with posting. Number 1 is an empower post. This is one super easy, since you should be doing self-development every day anyway. You're just going to pull from your self-development. You can take the content that you read that day, that you listened to that day, and pick one thing out that inspired you, create a graphic to go with it, and just share that inspiration with them. Number 2 would be to educate. You can educate according to your brand without attaching the company name or product name. You could, for example, share 3 reasons why blood chemistry is important, or 3 tips to help increase your water intake. But it doesn't necessarily have to be surrounding our products or the business aspect. You could do it surrounding your brand. A good example of this is Angel. I'm sure you've all heard her talk about this a time or two, but she's in a ton of Facebook groups that are about Disney pins, like the pins that you put on your, I guess, trade. I don't know about Disney pins, but apparently you go to Disney and they have these pins that you put on shirts and things. So she's in a ton of those groups. But since that's one of her branding or one of her interests, she could create a post about 3 tips on trading pins. She could put that on her social media, and then she could share that into other groups. So it's just a way to expand your network, create bigger connections with people that you have something in common with. And you're creating value for them. And then, of course, that's going to attract the right people to you when you're sharing that type of content. And then the 3rd post would be to entertain. And entertainment posts are the type that tend to go viral. They're things that are fun, genuine, and authentic. Anything funny. People love funny, and they are easily the things that get shared over and over and over. And even with those 3 tips, it could be super difficult to come up with things to post about. But if you go, when you're creating your content, if you just ask yourself, what kind of value am I going to share today? Every time you post, think, is this providing value to my target audience, to the people that have things in common with me? It'll make it a lot easier to filter your post ideas before posting. I try on Sundays to create a few posts ahead of time for the week, because making social media posts that are valuable can take up time, and it's not as big or important of a task as following up and things like that. So Sundays I try to do a few posts ahead of time for the week, or if I don't get a chance to do that, the night before, I try to make all the posts before, or make them all so that they're ready for the following day, so that following day I'm not scrambling trying to just find whatever I can find to get thrown up there just to have a post. You can create posts, save it in your notes on your phone, go ahead and create the picture and save it, so that all you have to do is copy and paste it the next day. 90% of your social media should be value driven, and then the other 10% should be about your products and businesses. So you're always trying to give more to your followers, to your people on your social media, than ever trying to get from them. Just pouring into them. I've rambled on for 36 minutes now. Does anyone have any questions about anything? And it doesn't have to be about anything that I talked about. Any questions at all?
I have a question. Can you hear me?
Yes, go for it.
The customer sheet, do I find that in our back office?
No.
Or is that through the Google?
I can send it to you. I don't know. It's in a couple of the groups, but I don't know what groups it's in. So I can send it to you if you want to send me a message after this.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else?
Okay, I have another question.
Okay, go for it. No, I love the questions.
This is kind of going a little off into another direction. I'm so confused on building our legs. I've heard one, that we should go downwards, start with 2 and go downwards, and then I've heard we should go all the way across. To build something steady and to start small, which is the best way to go on a unilevel leg? Because this is extremely confusing to me.
I personally was taught to build wide, to always build wide. And I think really until you hit your, I don't know if it's 1-star or 2-star, you just want to continue building wide, because those legs don't matter until you hit those bigger ranks.
So I wouldn't be able to hit 1 or 2-star building the unilevel starting downwards, and then I guess what, we can go 8 down?
Yes, you can.
And then start another 2? That wouldn't make sense at all. Because what happens, this is what my concern is. I go wide and I have 2 people or 1 person on one leg on one side and 1 way on the other side, and maybe just a few retail customers. See, my mind is going to try, how my mind is working is to try to build 2 legs strong and then another 2 legs strong. And are you saying that's not the way to do it?
I don't know if there's necessarily a wrong or right way to do it. Alicia Williams on here, do you have anything you could share on that? I was taught to build wide, but all leaders teach differently. So
Hi.
I'm
Hi.
sorry to call you out.
No, you're
No.
okay. I was eating. I just got home, so I was grabbing a bite to eat for lunch. I also was taught to build wide, and just love on anybody that you come into contact with that wants to build this business. And I've done that throughout my whole organization, levels deep. I mean, if you're going to find somebody, well, first of all, let me back that up. I would suggest reaching out to anybody you come into contact with and propose the business side of it, just because you have no idea the influence that that person has on anybody else in their audience. So I would propose not to try and do it strategically unless you were, I don't know. I don't really know the right answer either to this. I would just say grow as far and as wide as you can. That way you have legs deep all over the place, and you'll never have to worry about your two strongest legs here and your two strongest legs there. You're going to get paid on all of those legs regardless. So up to
see,
8 levels deep, obviously.
That's what confuses me. I hear everyone saying to grow your strongest legs or to obtain your strongest legs. But I mean, does it happen? If I have 15 people across and I could have taken, let's say I could have taken 10 of those people and put them on my, on two legs and build something strong instead of going all the way across. Yes, I'm going to get paid the most going across, but my legs going down won't be strong. Or am I incorrect of thinking that way?
I think that you have the not wrong thinking, but maybe switch your brain to let me see how many legs I can build, not strong or not weak at all. Just make sure that you're thinking that you need to keep building as far as you can wide. Really, and don't get me wrong, I think that you always need to be thinking in the back of your mind that I need to have some strong legs, but you also need to love the people that don't have strong legs as much as, your stronger legs, just the same, and show them support. So here's my thing. You really don't need to even worry about any of this until you hit 1-star, 2-star, 3-star, because that's when it's going to come into effect. Because you have to have so many people in your outside legs. But at the same token, those outside people can be from you. They can be your own personally enrolled. So if you're a 1-star on your own, which means you have 90 people under you on your own, which is doable, I promise you it's doable. Myself, I know me personally in my downline, I have a few that we have 90 people just on our own legs, just in ourselves, 90 personally enrolled people. So right there is already your personally enrolled is going to get your legs. When it gets to be you hitting your 3 and 4 and 5-star ranks, you've got to have so many people in those certain legs that have to grow out even further.
Okay.
So when you're sitting at a managing senior 1-star level, I would highly, highly focus on just building out and proposing the business to anybody that you come into contact with. Do you know 5 people that could lose weight? Do you know anybody that suffers from sugar regulation problems? That's what I would do. I would just propose that, I can help you get your products for free. I see that you're doing really great. You've lost 5-10 pounds, whatever it is. Let's share it with other people. Maybe we can get your products for free. If they get 5 people under you, that's a strong leg. Do that multiple times. And number 1, you're getting paid on it. Number 2, they're getting paid on it. And number 3, you have no idea those people that are building underneath of them who they can influence. So your business could skyrocket if you just offer the business to just everybody. I hope that makes sense. I'm sorry.
No, it does. It does. Like I said, I'm still kind of new to this, and
that's okay. Questions are great. I think that anybody that asks questions is truly plugged in, and that's where you're going to learn. So,
I was
sorry, Kyla.
I was extremely
Thank
skeptical.
you.
skeptical about all of this. And I was like, okay, I'll bite. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this product works. And I'm telling everyone, and people are now noticing, wow, you're losing weight. And I said, and I have the most energy being a cancer patient. I was dying. I was literally dying. And I'm alive now. So it's like I'm ready. I'm telling the world at this point. But there are a
Girl,
lot of
you have the best testimony, because just what you just now said, I'm alive. It's not even the Tru products. It's because you're alive and you know what you could do with that testimony.
the feeling that how it has changed me. I literally could not wash a load of dishes or mop a floor without laying on the couch going, I can't move anymore. To I've rearranged half my house on Tru and feel wonderful. I feel good. So
That's awesome.
this is what I'm pushing. It makes you feel good. And along with that, you're going to see some weight loss, and you're going to see your blood sugars level out, and you're just going to feel good. So, but I want to be able, because I want to grow with the company. I really want to get involved and grow with the company. So I want to do it the right way, and I don't want to miss out. So that's why I'm asking all these crazy questions.
No, you're doing awesome. That's awesome. There's never a silly or dumb question. I mean, we all have the same questions because we all start at the same level. I mean, I still ask questions, and I've been doing it for like 5.5 years.
Oh, wow.
There's no crazy question ever. And really, just sharing what you shared with us there, that's all you have to do. You don't need to, don't try to overcomplicate it by worrying about legs and everything. Just sharing what it's doing for you and getting other people started, and they do the same thing. You'll just naturally grow, and your legs will just take off.
Okay. All
You'll
right.
be fine.
I will be following you guys and seeing what's going on. Thank you so much. I appreciate all your information.
Sharing.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I spoke way too quick. Like I just threw it all up. So that's all I had to share today. If anybody has any questions, I welcome any questions. If not, then I guess we'll end early. No? So if anyone wants that customer sheet, just message me and I'll send it over to you now. And that's all I have. So thank you all for hopping on, and I hope you have a great day. Tomorrow, Laura Brown will be on, so she's always full of good information. See you then.